We're doing a sausage favorite that you can serve for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. This is What's Cooking Wednesday. All right, what we are cooking today is called a naked fatty. I know that sounds really funny, but that's what it's called, and I'll tell you why. We are taking a roll of sausage and we're going to season it and smoke it whole so that the entire thing congeals kind of like a meatloaf. We're going to slice it into sandwiches, top it with some amazing toppings. It's going to be wonderful. We've served them for breakfast, for appetizers, for tailgates before. People seem to love them. They're really easy to make, and this is how you do it. You take your roll of sausage and you're going to real lightly cut open the plastic without cutting the roll in half. Next step, we're taking some of our favorite seasoning. Today it's Hasty Bake Rub and Spice. You're gonna open it up because you're gonna use quite a bit. And you're gonna put it inside one of these pans and you're just gonna coat the bottom with it. Take these logs of sausage and just simply roll them. You want to roll it around until all sides are thoroughly covered in seasoning. You want to make sure you don't see any exposed meat. Same thing, roll around until it's completely covered. And that right there is the extent of our prep work for the meat portion of this. Now I mentioned we are going to be making biscuit sliders sandwiches out of these, but for now, this is all you got to worry about. We're going to go on the Hasty Bake Legacy 132 at 250 degrees for probably about an hour to an hour and a half. This is raw sausage, so we're looking for an internal temperature of 145 on it. That's when you know the sausage is done. After that, we'll talk to you about how we're going to slice these up and serve them.
All right, we got a good smoking fire built on our Hasty Bake Legacy 132. We got some pecan and some apple wood inside of our charcoal. We're going to get a good crust on these logs, get the internal temp up to 145, and then go to our next step. Placing both of these right over the top of the heat shield. That's going to be the coolest part of the fire, as the heat shield is going to block that meat from direct heat. Going to get these things smoking.
Now that our meat's been smoking for a little bit, we're going to go ahead and prepare the glaze. Once this meat gets about 135 to 140 degrees, we're going to come back in there and glaze over the top of it with a mix of pepper jelly, barbecue sauce, and a little bit more rub just to get a really good crust. Now you don't want to do it too soon in the cook because all these things have sugar in them and they'll burn. So you put it on at the very end, makes a great little crust. You want that crust to bake on because when we slice that sausage up, you want to make sure the crust doesn't kind of roll and slop off with it. It actually stays with it and is contained in the piece of sausage. So we're going to go ahead and take some sauce. We're going to add a little bit of pepper jelly to it. Cap and Rodney's is one of our favorites. And then a little bit more rub and spice. We're going to get this on the cooker in a couple minutes here, let that sauce warm up, thin out, all those flavors to mix in real well, and we'll go out and we'll brush it on the sausage.
All right, I've just temped these sausages, and they're about 130 to 135 degrees. It's the perfect time to go ahead and put some sauce on them. We got that glaze that we prepared in this pan. We're just going to go ahead and dip the brush in and glaze these things down so they get nice and pretty, develop some really good color and a nice shine.
All right, our sausage is off the grill right now. We smoked it to an internal temperature of 145. We did some glaze just before it reached there, and we have our solid sausage logs. Now is we're gonna kind of start to build our sandwiches that we're making by adding a couple little fun things to it. Starting off, we're gonna go ahead and take our logs out and we're gonna slice them into about 1.5 inch rings. So they stay nice and thick, they'll hold together very well. Kind of the thickness of a thick hamburger patty. From here, what I do is I go ahead and I put them back in the pan face down, because what we're going to do with these is top them with some cheese. And then when we actually build the sandwich, we're gonna put a little pepper jelly on them too. Got a good amount of smoke in them. The bark on them is wonderful. That glaze is gonna add some sweetness and some heat. Then we're gonna go ahead and take our cheese. Most of these are small enough that you don't necessarily need to use a whole piece of cheese with them. We're just gonna go ahead and line up the cheese and cut it into quarters. We'll put a couple pieces on every one of these. We're gonna get this back on the smoker, let that cheese melt, pull them off when they're nice and hot. We'll top them with some pepper jelly, finish building these sandwiches. All the cheese is nice and melted in the pan. We're gonna go ahead and start to build these things. Now, one of the reasons I really like this recipe is you can make a lot of it at a time. You can cook 8 or 10 pounds of sausage on your cooker. Doesn't matter if you use breakfast sausage or Italian sausage, sweet and spicy sausage, all of them will have their own flavor characteristic. But you can cook a lot of them at a time, slice them all up, so if someone's coming over for brunch or for a tailgate or something like that, you can get 20 or 30 sliders done at a time without having to sit out there at the grill and flip individual burgers. So it's a great recipe to do in bulk. We're gonna go ahead and take every one of these. We're gonna pile them up on our biscuits. Now we have some buttermilk biscuits here that we've made. You can use pop can biscuits, you can do slider burger buns. Get as creative as you want with it. After you get your tops on there, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna do a drizzle of pepper jelly on top of this. Something else we've done in the past that turned out really good was you can crack an egg over it, or you can put candied jalapenos on it. Then you go ahead, once these are all done, put the bread back on, put them back in a pan and serve them. They have a wonderful little appearance to them. Got some beautiful color, got some wonderful smoke. Got a good melty amount of cheese. Sausage, biscuit, cheese, like I said, add an egg. You can't go wrong with them. They're absolutely wonderful, and they're great to make for a party. So that's it for What's Cooking Wednesday. Make these up at home and enjoy them. I know I'm gonna enjoy one right here. That is really good. Way better than any breakfast sandwich you're gonna get at McDonald's, I'll tell you that. Good spice, good sweetness, a little bit extra pepper jelly. These are great. Enjoy them at home, guys. Have some fun making them. Send us your comments. Smash that subscribe button, ring that bell. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys next week.